Hi, handsome. Robyn sends her husband Kody a touching film about special forces, the toughest test in the world. Kody Brown is moved to tears by Robyn's inspirational video message on special forces, the toughest test in the world. But an NDA was allegedly forced upon them by a TLC Sister Wives star in return for their silence about the sale of the family's Coyote Pass property. As they proceeded to complete the land sale with Robyn and Janelle Brown, Mary Brown recalled a heated conversation with her ex-husband Kody Brown in a recent teaser trailer. The video implied that there was far more going on between the ex-family members behind the scenes than the public ever knew. In a new Facebook teaser trailer for an episode that will run on November 16th, Mary started, "He's blaming the whole expletive thing on me that I figured out, that I'm the problem. They were attempting to have me sign a confidentiality agreement, but I refused to do so." "What is the purpose of having me sign a confidentiality agreement? Why do you want to keep me quiet?" Mary inquired. Kody stated in a different interview that the family had a buyer for the house and that Janelle was pressuring him to force the sale or comply completely with Mary's demands. "I got to this point where I was like, backdoor deal, almost with Janelle," he continued. "Simply sell it out from under Robyn and Mary." Robyn, Kody's sole lawful wife, objected to this strategy. Robyn was saying, "We are not going to mess them over," he responded to the cameras on TLC. "I was an awful polygamist because I was unable to say, 'Just sit down and shut up.' With these wives, I could never just do that and get away with it," Kody said. Robyn looked at me and said, "Who are you?" Kody continued. "If one of his wives left him, he would purchase her a house down the street to keep his children near him, and you would be very giving to her. You are the man I met and fell in love with." "Where are you?" Unexpectedly, Janelle went on to say that Kody was free to sell the property without Mary's consent. He had the option of pressuring the sale. Janelle made this declaration after siding with Mary a few seasons prior, out of concern that Kody could try to use the land in an unethical manner. Then, off camera, a Sister Wives director asked Mary, "Would you be able to speak about it if you signed the confidentiality and they had sold the property out from under you?" "No," she exclaimed. It expletive. "Pains me that this is what has happened. I never imagined that these individuals would attempt to harm me in this way. Like, did we not have any human characteristics?" Mary said. The Sun reports that in April 2025, Kody, Mary, Janelle, and Robyn Brown sold the family's Flagstaff, Arizona home for $1.5 million. In 2018, the land was bought for $820K. The land was retitled prior to the sale, ensuring that each of the previous family members would get a quarter of the proceeds. As Sister Wives Season 20 progresses, the drama behind the scenes concerning the sale of the family property continues. TLC broadcast the series on Sundays at 10 p.m. ET. But as the evening light disappeared behind the mountains, like a curtain dropping at the conclusion of a lengthy play, Christine Brown sat on the wooden porch of her new Utah house. As the TLC cameras rolled slowly, waiting for her to say something, a chilly breeze blew across her face. She just breathed for a minute, slowly and steadily, as though she were attempting to release years of entangled feelings. At last, Christine raised her head and spoke the words, "I wasn't sure if we were truly divorced." Surprised, the producer blinked as he leaned behind the camera. Drama was what they had anticipated, but not this level of candor. A perplexing conclusion. The legal boundaries were hazy, but Christine had left Kody about 2 years prior. She had advanced socially, emotionally, and spiritually, but legally, that was more difficult. "I really thought we were done when I left Flagstaff," Christine added. "However, I believed he filed some documents. Documents he believed I had filed. Furthermore, none of us wanted to talk for too long in order to determine who was responsible for what." She shook her head and giggled a little. "You could not have imagined a more awkward non-divorce divorce." The surprise letter. A large envelope showed up in her mailbox one morning. It wasn't a cordial holiday card or a love letter. It was a message from an Arizona law firm. Christine clarified, it stated that our petition for separation was never finished. Her tone became tense. In other words, we weren't officially divorced. Christine got up and strode across the porch while the team frantically adjusted their cameras. For half an hour, I sat on the couch and gazed at that letter. I couldn't decide whether to scream or laugh. David Woolley, her new partner, entered the room holding a coffee cup. When he noticed her look, his warm smile vanished. "Chris, what's the matter?" Christine's fingers were shaking when she handed him the paper. David raised his eyebrows as he read it. "So, you're telling me that your ex-husband believes you're divorced, but the government says, well, maybe not." Christine gave a hopeless nod. After letting out a big sigh, David unexpectedly started laughing. "This kind of thing would only occur in your life." Christine also burst out laughing, her eyes welling with tears. "Exactly, just in my life," turning to face Kody. Once more, Christine needed to see Kody face to face to clear up the confusion. Despite being prohibited from entering the lawyer's office, TLC captured their entrance on tape. Kody appeared as anxious as a man anticipating bad news as he stood outdoors with his arms crossed. "Christine," he uttered rigidly. "Kody," she replied in a tone that matched his. They sat across the table from each other for the first time in months, not as husband and wife, but as two individuals in dire need of direction. The attorney clarified everything. "Your divorce was spiritually agreed upon, but the state needs more paperwork." Kody appeared insulted. "I believed she took care of that." Christine gave an eye roll. "I assumed you took care of that." The attorney held out a hand. "Who thought what is irrelevant? It's important to get this resolved right now." Kody and Christine shared a tired smile for the first time. They both just wanted to get on with their lives. Freedom verified at last. Christine felt lighter than she has in years when she walked outdoors after completing the paperwork. She closed her eyes and mumbled, "Now I know," as the sun struck her face. It's real now. She had her official interview with TLC later that night. She firmly stated, "I didn't know if we were actually divorced, but now I do. And I feel liberated." I felt powerful, and with someone who genuinely loves me, I feel prepared for the next phase of my life. At home, David welcomed her with open arms. He brushed a lock of hair away from her face and inquired, "How did it go?" "It's finished," Christine grinned. "Very well done." David gave her a forehead kiss. "All right, let's live a happy, long life." Christine chuckled. "No fanciful stories, but a genuine, happy, healthy life. I'll accept that." "I closed one door today and opened another," Christine said confidently as the episode came to a conclusion, opening the windows of her new house to allow in sunlight. "And I'm walking through it fearlessly for the first time." But the opening of Sister Wives' 18th season was unexpectedly chaotic, full of laughs, with the Brown family working harder than ever to restore the fun. The family agreed that this season would be about having fun, spending time together, and creating new memories after months of conflict. The mastermind was Christine, with a bouncy castle, face painting, popcorn machines, and even a rented miniature Ferris wheel. She surreptitiously turned Janelle's backyard into a miniature carnival. Their mouths fell open when the entire family showed up. "You accomplished all of this, Christine?" Startled, Mary inquired. Christine chuckled and said, "I wanted us to feel like children again, and perhaps remind everyone that having fun isn't against the law." The children were so excited that they rushed around yelling. Everyone laughed until they sobbed as Kody tried the bouncy castle and got caught in the middle of his bounce. The whole family felt united for the first time in a long time. Robyn took great care in organizing a karaoke night, replete with homemade glitter microphones for the wives, disco lights, and a fog machine. Together, Christine and Janelle sang "Girls Just Want to Have Fun." Halfway through her dramatic power ballad, Mary blasted a high note so sharp that the cat fled the room, shocking everyone. Even Kody attempted to play a country song, but he improvised and missed the lyrics, resulting in a humorous rap-country hybrid. For fun, the kids recorded everything, and the family quickly began to love the clips. A simple hike was Janelle's insistence, but with the Browns, nothing is ever easy. Christine found she had brought snacks but no real hiking equipment halfway up the route. Robyn neglected to wear sunblock. By mistake, Mary packed dog treats rather than trail mix. Additionally, Kody persisted in yelling inspirational sayings that nobody requested. They argued so loudly about the map at one point that several campers believed they were doing a sitcom. But there was stillness as they arrived at the summit, tired and covered in dust. Everything turned pink and gold as a broad desert sunset stretched across the sky. "This is the reason we try," Christine muttered. It turned into one of the season's most serene moments. The family chose to paint a single, enormous picture for the new home as a way to get back in touch. they had a sophisticated vision. Instead, the children began a paint fight within 5 minutes. Before long, Kody's shirt was purple. Janelle had a blue streak in her hair, and Mary retaliated by splattering paint over Robyn's arm. The finished canvas resembled the Brown family in that it was vibrant, unkempt, and a little crazy. They titled it The Art of Family and hung it in the living room nevertheless. This was supposed to be peaceful and soothing. It wasn't. Half of the plates were blown away by the wind. Kody's kayak overturned. The children continued to photobomb Robyn's attempts to get a group photo. Janelle brought far too little food, and Christine brought far too much. The family then joined arms and went barefoot in the water, laughing and splashing like they used to. Everything felt complete once more for a brief while. The Browns established a new yearly custom, a family time festival for the last episode. Everyone made a contribution. Christine prepared her renowned enormous cinnamon buns. Janelle organized games outside. Mary set up a little craft fair. Robyn created a fairy garden in the backyard. Kody tried a magic show. But it was a hilarious failure. The family gathered around a fire as the sun went down, eating marshmallows and talking about their fondest seasonal experiences. Janelle remarked, "It wasn't flawless, but it was ours." Christine gave everyone a kind grin. This season, we laughed more than we have in a long time. Perhaps that was what we required. For the first time, the Brown family felt a sense of belonging. Not out of duty, but voluntarily. But as Christine Brown strolled through her family's sunny yard, she was overcome with excitement. The flutter in her heart appeared to be echoed by the soft rustle of leaves in the warm autumn breeze. She was finally prepared to wed the love of her life, a man who had filled her life with laughter, joy, and security in ways she could only imagine, after years of negotiating the challenges of faith, family, and love. Her kids were bursting with enthusiasm as they assisted her in getting the house ready for the festivities. Delicate floral arrangements decorated the tables as balloons floated in ivory and gold hues. Christine was reminded that love was both beautiful and difficult, but always worthwhile by her sisters-in-law, who stopped by with warm hugs and supportive smiles. They all shared their tales, jokes, and advice. Christine had a surge of emotion as she tried on her wedding gown, a traditional ivory gown with lace accents. When she looked in the mirror, she saw not just the soon-to-be bride, but also the woman who had overcome heartache, doubt, and many concerns about her future to come out stronger, more self-assured, and prepared to welcome happiness. The ceremony space was almost finished outside. A soft stream of music drifted through the fresh air as soft fairy lights twinkled about the gazebo. The atmosphere was one of sheer jubilation as guests began to arrive. As he stood at the altar, nervously fixing his tie, Christine's soon-to-be husband, a gentle and understanding guy named Daniel in this story, had a bright smile that reflected her own enthusiasm. The ceremony was straightforward, but sincere. Daniel's eyes filled with tears as he watched Christine walk down the aisle with her kids clutching her hands. There wasn't a single dry eye in the audience when they exchanged vows. Love, respect, and unfailing support were promised in every word. As they sealed their vows with a tender, happy kiss, friends and relatives applauded. Music and laughter later filled the area at the reception. Feeling like a teenager once more, Christine spun around the dance floor with Daniel, but with the maturity and self-assurance of an adult who had at last discovered her true love. The affection in the room was evident as toasts were made and stories were exchanged. As the evening came to a conclusion, Christine took a minute to sit quietly and gaze around at her loved ones, her friends, and the guy she had decided to live her entire life with. She came to see that this day was more than simply a marriage celebration. It was also a celebration of endurance, forbearance, and the conviction that true love always finds a way. Christine was overcome with joy and serenity as she leaned into Daniel's embrace. She muttered, "This is just the beginning." And Daniel grinned, realizing that they were going to start a wonderful new chapter in their life together. And in typical sister wives form, love had triumphed, and Christine's heart had found a home amidst the drama, eccentricities, and complications of family life. Greetings and welcome to my channel. Dear viewers, I'm Sabrina. I hope you're having a great day. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the video.